Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the MylesHighClubPodcast. I am your host, Myles. This is episode 37. What's happening? What's happening, people? Is everybody good? I hope everyone's blessed out there. The weather is beautiful. We've had sun. We've had not just sun, we've had hot sun consistently now for what feels like a week or just over a week. Knowing my luck, I've just jinxed us. But hey ho, I'm sure the weather report said something about thunderstorms tomorrow or whatever day it is happening. But for now, I'm looking outside the window, the sky's blue, no clouds in sight, the sun is out. Good mood. I'm breaking a rule. I know when I first started this podcast, I said you would never hear me talk about it. I don't know if you guys that are watching can see. People listening, you definitely can't see, but I was bit. Okay, last week I got bit. You're probably wondering, Myles, what did you get bit by? Are you okay? I got bit by the football bug. Okay, it's the Euros 2020 or 2021, whatever the hell they're calling it. The Euros have started and I am fully invested. I haven't missed one game and I don't plan to. Don't listen. I'm going to keep it short and sweet because this is not a sports podcast. I hate league football. I hate watching league football, the Premier League, the Champions League, the Division 1 league, whatever the fucking leagues are called. I hate watching league football. But you see the Euros and the World Cup, that is my shit. Let me tell you why. And some people will say this about the Champions League. I just don't care about the Champions League. Let me tell you why there's something about the Euros and the World Cup. One, it's the whole nation. So I don't have to go and sit in pubs and listen to people bicker about what team is better than this team and how this team didn't beat that team. Yes, they argue about the players, but I don't know half of these players now anyway, so that doesn't really bother me. But everyone is just together. And two, it's a competition. One of my biggest gripes with football is imagine having a game where the whole point of the game is to score and win, but some people deliberately go out there and attempt to draw. Like, watching league football is some of the most boring shit when both teams are just playing for a draw, playing safe. No, fuck that. Go out and score. That's the only reason I'm watching now. I want to see goals. I don't want to just see you avoid. It's like watching, I was going to say it's like watching boxing. It's not, because in boxing, there is a skill to avoiding being punched. Like, now, if you go into a boxing match and don't throw punches, what's the point? Just like people that go to play football and don't attempt to score goals and are just trying to not concede. No. The Euros, it brings summer out. It's brought the football bug out of me. I was at the pub drinking cider with the boys in the sun. Yeah, man, I haven't missed a game. Don't plan on missing a game. I'll leave it there. Oh, no, we will say prayers to, is it Christian? I don't know if you pronounce his name Christian, but prayers to Christian Eriksen, the Denmark player who last week, I think they said he had a cardiac arrest. So anyone that missed this, a football player who you assume to be one of the most healthiest people in the world, minding his business, during the game is kicked off, he's just running, minding his business. All of a sudden he looks a bit drowsy and then he just hits the deck and he's on the floor. And yeah, it appears that he had a heart attack. He wasn't breathing for a few minutes. They were trying to use CPR on him for about 5-10 minutes, it felt like. The BBC, the camera people, what the fuck were you lot doing? Like, when he fell to the floor, fine, keep the cameras on them because you're not too sure what's happening. When he's not moving, and you can see them rushing over and they start doing CPR, move the camera. Don't stay fixated on this person. Cut back to the people in the commentary box. Cut to someone on the bench. Cut to other players. Cut somewhere. Don't just stay focused on this man dying or dead for nearly 10-15 minutes. Salute to the Denmark players as well. One, when Eriksen was carried off on the side to do CPR, the players actually sort of tried to form a circle around him to try and block anyone taking pictures or videos. And two, once they found out that Eriksen was all right, the show must go on. I think it was like an hour or hour and a half later, they actually resumed the match. Unfortunately for Denmark, they then went on to lose 1-0, but okay, that's the sport. That's enough of the sports. I have the football bug. We'll see how far England get. I think it happens to everyone in England. We get our hopes up, we get kicked out, we complain for the next 2 years until the next international tournament, and then we get our hopes right back up there. We're off to a good start. We won 1-0. Let's see where we are. Let's see how far we can take this. Moving off that, weekly, I was flicking through the news again, looking at the news weekly updates, and I'm going to try not to stay on this one too long either. But if you didn't see this, you know what? Before I go on this rant, let me just preference this by saying, One, I am not a scientist. I am not a healthcare professional. I'm not even an expert in health, science, virus, disease, death, anything like that. I just know what I've been told and what I've seen. That's number one. Number two, we are all adults. Well, majority of people are adults. So I feel like everyone watching this is an adult. So you guys are adults. You can make your own decisions. You don't need me to tell you what to do. I'm not here to judge anybody. I just have opinions. Sometimes I keep them to myself. Other times I let them fly. But if you didn't see this coming, get your head tested. Maybe I need to be more like you. Maybe you're the optimist in life. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, Boris Johnson announced we are now having a 4-week delay. So just when you thought we were slipping out of lockdown on the 21st of June, it's been extended now to what, the 19th of July. Who didn't see it coming? Just remember, in 2020, they told us 3 weeks. That then turned into 3 months because they were like, we'll review it every 3 weeks for so long. That turned into 6 months, turned into a year. Christmas came and went. The New Year came, still in lockdown. We went into a lockdown, came out of the lockdown into a partial lockdown to go back into the lockdown, to come out of the lockdown over Christmas, just to plunger straight back into the lockdown, which we are still currently in now. I don't get it. I do not get it. I put this on my Instagram story the other night, but you know what? I can't actually remember all the different things I was saying. So I'm just going to read it off my phone now and just let you guys know all the different things that were said. So these have all been, this thing has been extended now for 4 weeks. My conspiracy, tinfoil hat time, my conspiracy as to why this has all been extended is because the vaccine is an emergency vaccine. So for them to be able to issue emergency vaccines out, we have to be in a state of emergency or a lockdown. They haven't vaccinated either as many people as they wanted to, or the target, or whatever it is. So in order for them to keep giving out vaccines, they need to extend this lockdown emergency period so they are entitled to continue giving out these vaccinations. Again, I'm not making this up. That's a fact. You can do new research. These vaccinations, the reason why they came out so quick is because they're classed as emergency vaccinations. So they can only be given out in emergency situations. If they cancel the lockdown, they legally can't give out vaccinations, or they legally can't give out the vaccinations they've been giving out. That's one. It's been announced. It's just, there's some tweaks to the rules which don't make any sense whatsoever. So let's have a look at whatever bollocks they're feeding us now. So here we go. So nightclubs, I didn't care about this, but everyone that was praying and wishing for the nightclubs to reopen on June 21st, unfortunately, that's now out the window. You've got to wait till July. There is still a cap on gatherings, so this is the confusing one. If everyone's from a different household, it's up to 6 people that can be outside. If it's from 1 or 2 households, then I think you can have as many people meet up as you want. What's the difference? Who knows? But there you go. Let's have a look. The cap on weddings will be removed. So the 30-person cap on weddings has been removed, so family and friends can all celebrate the joyous occasion together. So if I want to have a barbecue or meet my friends over the park, only 6 of us can do it. However, COVID isn't as effective during a wedding setting, so you can have as many people at your wedding as you want, which is it's a bit shit considering one of my boys, Brandon, and his wife, and the deliverer of my child, Mila, they got married, last week, the week before. They could have just waited a few more weeks and had the big wedding blowout. But again, their wedding looked amazing, so I don't think they would change anything. But this week, here you go. So wedding caps have been removed, so as many people can go to your wedding as they want. However, food and drinks must be ordered, served, and consumed by guests sat at the table, so you can't go up to the bar and get a drink. Dancing is still not permitted, so you can't dance, and you can't sing either. However, the happy couple will be allowed to have their first dance. I just don't get it. The number of attendees will be determined by how many people the venue can safely accommodate. There you go. I've said the rule of 6 is set to continue indoors. You can meet up with a maximum of 6 people from different households, although it can be more if your group comes from only 2 households. What difference does it make? This is the one that confused me from the very get-go. Masks still need to be worn when you're moving around the venue, and table service remains the norm. So, when you walk into an establishment, let's say a restaurant, you have to wear your mask from the front door to your table, but as soon as you sit down at your table, you can take your mask off, because everybody knows COVID is a polite virus that doesn't attack people sat at a table eating, okay? So just remember that. But if you want to get up and go to the toilet, put your mask back on, because again, that pathway from your table to the toilet is notoriously high in COVID activity. So take that as you wish. Care home residents may stay overnight with friends or family from Monday, so they don't need to quarantine for 14 days on return to their residences, which that's probably the best one that made a lot of people happy if you've got people that are stuck in care homes. What else have they said? People that are aged 40 or over, your second dose has now been brought forward from the 12-week interval till 8 weeks. I'm sure there was a reason, maybe a health and safety reason why you had to wait 12 weeks. Whatever that reason was, they've just said, fuck it, bring it forward, let them get it after 8 weeks. So there's that for your over 40s. Same thing happened with over 50s. I think over the 23 upwards are now being offered their vaccinations. I didn't get the text like I saw a lot of people do, but I got the letter that says you're free NHS. Again, I'm not here to tell anyone what to do. I'm just saying, with this vaccination, I still have to wear a mask. I still have to abide by all the rules that non-vaccinated people have to abide by. Not all I can't have all of it. Well, not all the vaccines are recommended for my age group of people. So they're there offering certain ones to people, knowing full well that it's not the recommended one for them. So there's that. Getting the vaccination doesn't stop me from getting COVID. It doesn't stop me passing on COVID. It doesn't protect me from all of these new variants that have just appeared out of nowhere. There's so many names. There's Delta and the Indian one. There was a Yorkshire one, a Manchester one, and Wolverhampton most likely has its own COVID as well because, it's Wolverhampton. Oh, Jesus. However, outdoor stadiums are currently linked to 25% capacity with a maximum of 10,000 fans. So 10,000 people can gather in a stadium, whether it's football or rugby or whatever. But me and 9 other friends can't go over the park and just chill. But me and 21 other people can all run around on a football field playing football on a Sunday. Don't stop that. I'm not saying you need to stop that. I'm just pointing out some of the things here that don't make sense to me. There will be 45,000 fans in attendance at Wembley for the climax of the Euros 2020, while Wimbledon's Central Court will host a full house for both men's and women's finals. So again, COVID doesn't attack in sporting environments, which is really good to know. And again, modelling, the question here is, why has step 4 been delayed? Modelling suggests that the final easing of lockdown not being pushed back. Modelling suggests that had the final easing of lockdown not been pushed back, hospital admissions could have reached heights of the first peak in March 2020. The number of people being admitted to hospitals is increasing around 50% per week, and the figure is as high as 61% in the Northwest. So cases are on the rise, even though more and more people are getting vaccinated, even though I have the actual, because they put this out, the government put this out themselves. So I'm just reading what the government has said to me. Give me 2 seconds and I'll let you know exactly what that is. So it was one of these things that was confusing me, so I had to do my research. There are 68 million, or just over 68 million people in the UK. You got that? In terms of the COVID vaccine, over 30 million people across the UK have had both doses of their COVID-19 vaccine. That's what Health Secretary Matt Hancock says. So apparently 57.3% of the adult population are now fully vaccinated, yet the UK has the highest rate of new COVID cases in Europe. Why would I get vaccinated? It's a genuine question. Why would I get vaccinated? Don't tell me it reduces the chance of death or reduces the chance of catching it or it makes it less passable. Whatever that, it's just showing us here. Over half the adults in the country are vaccinated, yet COVID cases are still rising. It's, you know what? Whatever, government, you keep telling us whatever the fuck it is you want to keep telling us. Again, I don't have the answers about so many things in life. I have opinions. I have a lot of questions. I don't have the answers. My answer would be everyone fuck it and just carry on acting like you would do before this. Carry on acting like it was 2019. Right? Let's party like it was 2019. I know the song's like 1999 or something, but no. Let's party like it was 2019 when everything was just normal and we could go where you wanted to and fly out without getting charged money to get tests to fly out and fly back and pay to stay in a hotel or pay to leave the hotel early. Oh, it's a load of bollocks. Everyone should just stop. Just stop. I know you're thinking, oh, but Myles, what about the elderly and what about the people that are staying? You guys stay in if it's that much of a concern to you. You guys stay in. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. And we're back from a break, and in typical Myles fashion, I know what I was ranting about. I'm not too sure where in my rant I actually got to. But yeah, talking about the vulnerable people. Vulnerable people stay in your house. It's just like, I know people that have vulnerable elderly family members that if they have a cold, they wouldn't go and see them. This is what we treat as. If you don't want to pass anything on, don't go and see them. You want to go see your elderly relative? Even if you get vaccinated, there are people out there who are vaccinated going to see elderly family members, not knowing if they're COVID-free or not. But just because you've been vaccinated, you're now assuming you can do all these things, even though you literally still run the risk of catching COVID, passing COVID on, having COVID, but not realizing you're having COVID, whatever the fucking term it is they use for all that. As you can tell, it's to the point now where I just don't care. And the worst is, I don't want to go back to working in the office, okay? I don't want to go, because I don't want to hear all the conversations, because you know that's going to happen. You know, for people that have already gone back to the office, I'm sure you've already had these conversations. For people that haven't gone back to their office or returned back to work properly yet, like face-to-face work, like me, still working at home over a year later, you're all probably thinking you've all probably had that conversation. I don't want to go back in the office and hear the conversation, oh, COVID this and COVID that, and how scary is it, and blah, 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 because my opinions are I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just sick and tired of hearing people bitch and moan about super spreaders and spreader events and young people, and shut up. Just shut up. Government told you smoking was good for you. Turns out that was a lie. The government then corrupted the education system and taught us that we all need to be drinking milk. Turns out that was a lie. They then had that food table where it was like starch and carbs, and turns out that was a lie. I don't know how many other examples you want me to give of the government saying something and it turning out to be a lie. Why I should treat this any different when the physical evidence that not only have I seen for myself, but is being broadcasted all over the news is completely shit. The fact that the news came out last year and was like, yeah, some of these COVID numbers aren't exactly correct. I was like, all right, forget this. Find a different way to control us, all right? Or just give up. How about that? Just give up and let everyone live their human lives like they want to live them. But fuck it. Fuck Boris, fuck COVID, fuck Matthew Hancock, fuck all of them. Live your lives. And if you're someone that's watching this and you're triggered because you've lost someone to COVID, condolences. Moving on. Another thing that I saw, the reason this is a story to me, because I didn't even know that this was a thing, but the blood donation ban on gay and bisexual men has been partially lifted. So if you didn't know, I'm here to teach you. Restrictions on bisexual and gay men being able to donate blood has been partially lifted in Scotland, England, and Wales. So under the initial rules, men who have had sex with men were banned from donating blood for life. But now sexually active gay and bisexual men who have had one sexual partner for the previous 3 months are able to donate. So as a straight man, I could sleep with one woman every day for 3 months and there are no laws stopping me from getting or from giving blood. But if you're a gay guy or a bisexual guy and you have sex with 2 partners in 3 months, you are not able to donate blood. Now, I remember I said at the start of this, I'm not an expert on science. My understanding is the whole theory, conspiracy, stereotype that all gay people have AIDS, or only gay people get AIDS, or that AIDS is passed through gay sex and AIDS is in the blood, so by getting blood donations and passing it on and all that. That is stupid. Surely, if you have this much concern without discriminating or alienating a whole fucking bunch of people, can't you just test people? Or test the blood? Like, it's not hard for someone to turn up to a blood donation centre and lie. Are you gay? No. Okay, you can give blood. Next thing you know, there's a gay guy giving blood. Do you not test the blood? Surely they should be testing all blood that is donated. Therefore, it shouldn't matter who is coming to donate blood. You just have a list of, do you drink alcohol? Do you smoke? Do you have HIV/AIDS? Anything that can be passed through blood. Hepatitis, do you have any of these? No. Okay? You can come in. If you say yes, look, we're not going to waste your time. If you've ticked yes to any of these, we don't want your blood. Goodbye. You have to specifically pick out gay people. You do not have to do that. Straight people can get AIDS as well. Straight people can get HIV. You've also got bisexual here, which is someone that sleeps with both. So that should let you know that if a gay person can get it and there are bisexual people in the world, then women should be able to. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't. I'm not gay. Never been gay. I don't understand all the struggles that gay people go through, but man, being gay, you can't even give blood. Again, if you know something I don't know, by all means, drop a comment, message me, inform me, but you can't give blood because you're gay. That's gay. Sticking with the LGBT plus community. So over here in the UK, or majority of the country of the UK, we're sort of making things for the better, slowly, partially making things for the better. Over in Hungary, they have passed laws banning LGBT plus content in schools. Side note, what happened to the Q? I thought it was LGBTQ plus. Will you just pick an acronym, please? Okay? I'm on your side. I'm on your team. But pick an acronym and stick with it, because you keep changing the acronym and it keeps confusing me. And I feel like I'm saying the wrong thing. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So, LGBT plus. So Hungary has passed laws banning that kind of content in schools. So the legislation bans the representation of any sexual orientation that isn't heterosexual in schools and prohibits sharing any content that portrays or promotes homosexuality or gender reassignment to anybody under the age of 18. Here's the kicker. It means that LGBT plus content will also be banned from films and advertisements aimed at under 18s. So that means, I forgot what it's called already, but that little Pixar short that I watched on Disney Plus where it was about a gay guy coming out to his parents and then his parents accepted him, that would be banned from being in there. I think that it seems to be a controversial topic. And here's my stance on it. There is a controversial topic about overtly teaching children in schools about things like homosexuality and things like and sexual orientation and gender. Right, when I was a kid, there was none of that. And I don't mean none of that as in they didn't teach us about homosexuality. They didn't teach us about sex. I didn't do sex education until we got to high school. And even now, I still don't remember what that was about. I think might have learned about periods, something to do with sex, condoms. And that's literally all I can remember. The only sort of life lesson I remember from school is the person at a house party that took heroin or ecstasy and then was drinking so much water they drowned. It's the one of the life lessons I learned from school. And to wear a seatbelt, because if you don't wear a seatbelt and you crash into your windscreen's got this glass where it will partially break, but then it will come back together and your face can get trapped in it, and it happened to someone, and when they slam back in their seat, their face got pulled out and their face was just left on the windscreen and their body was just faced. Ugh. But yeah, so I don't remember it being taught to me in school. And here's my issue with or here's my stance on this. If you are in primary school, if you're listening, the UK primary school is what, aged 5 to 10? 5 to 10/11. I think it's 5 to 11. I think the oldest you can be in year 6 is 11. So up to the age of 11, I don't really think they should be taught about sexual orientation, full stop. At that young age, if kids have questions, go to your parents. Because at the young age of primary school, I think all questions like that should be handled and dealt with by your parents. Now, once you get to high school, because it says under 18, so once you're like 11 to 18, which is high school and college for us over here, I don't know how it works in Hungary, then yeah, because this is when people are going to start becoming sexually active, they're going to start exploring. Perfect time to start talking about it. You can't talk about one without talking about the other. It's as simple as that. But all you're going to do, like, not talking about homosexual, like, they're saying don't portray. So they can't, it prohibits them sharing any content that portrays or promotes homosexuality or gender reassignment to anybody under the age of 18. And that includes films and advertisements. What is their definition of promote? I don't understand. Like, if two men just kiss on screen, or two men or two women just say I love you, or anything like that, is that technically classed as promoting? Does this mean that RuPaul's Drag Race will be banned from Hungary? I know it's not aimed at under 18s, but if it's on Netflix and under 18 can watch it, so are they going to be banned? Marvel are looking to do with the Eternals. The Eternals. Marvel is definitely aimed at under 18s. Marvel is aimed at everyone. In the Eternals, they're going to have their first openly gay character. Does that mean Eternals is going to be banned from Hungary? An MCU film that's in canon with MCU? That, it's just, again, I don't know. Hungary might be one of those religion-based countries where it's against the religion and whatnot, but all you're doing is alienating gay people. This is not going to eradicate. If you're trying to stop people turning gay and changing their sex, this isn't the way to do it. If anything, this is just going to empower them more. Because by not bringing it to light, and just like, if it's very ignorant to say this, but if you were just to ignore homosexuality and gender reassignment, so don't physically ban it, don't praise it, but don't physically ban it, just ignore it and just pretend it doesn't happen, everything would be fine. Well, it wouldn't be fine, but it would be a lot better as a result for the oppressors than it would be banning it. Because all you're going to do by banning it is start protests. You're going to get outcry. It's already drawn international news. I'm in the UK and I've learned about this, about Hungary banning laws. It's just stupid. Listen, primary school, yes, sexual reassignment or gender reassignment and homosexuality in primary school maybe should be left out, only because, again, at that age, kids probably aren't too sure. I think at that age, again, I could be wrong. I'm just saying at that age, it should be left for the parents. There are probably people in the community that are saying, you can't leave it to the parents, because leaving it to the parents, what about if your parents are homophobes and they don't understand? It's going to be it's again, difficult conversations. People get kicked out of homes or beaten, attacked, disowned, all sorts of things like that. See, now, this is why I need someone here to talk to, because now I'm going to contradict myself and say, well, maybe there should be like a class, or maybe there should be something just for young people, just to say, hey, this is okay. Because they might go home and live with people who think it's not okay, and now they're scared to come out and they're living, man, this shit's difficult. I'm not part of the LGBT plus community. I feel like someone from that community should be handling all of this. Let's just move on to some light news. I say light news. All depends how you feel when I read this out. Lash technician's dog rips off eyelid of client who was preparing to celebrate her birthday. You heard it right. So apparently a lash technician's dog ripped off the whole eyelid of a client who was preparing to celebrate her birthday. In the picture I can see, the woman, you can clearly see, has had her whole eyelid attached back on. Like the whole eyelid was ripped off by this dog. Why the dog didn't eat it? No idea. It just says, Kelsey Salmon wanted to get her eyelashes done for her birthday. She was preparing for a long trip to Hawaii, blah, 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 blah. 23-year-old booked an appointment with a new technician whose chihuahua lunged at her in an unprovoked attack. So instead of celebrating in Hawaii, she spent her birthday in bed after surgery to reattach her eyelid. Whew. Photos show the victim's entire eyelid discarded, including a brand new pair of lash extensions still attached. Other images show her left eyeball completely exposed. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Oh wow. How does that even happen? First of all, lash technicians, anyone that is working from home that involves other people coming over, lock your dog away. Lock your animal away. It happened with me today. If you watched last week, I was saying how BT are coming around to install my internet. He came around this morning. It's a bigger job than he thought, so he's got to come back later on. Soon as I saw him, I didn't ask him, are you okay with dogs? I didn't say, are you allergic to dogs? I literally opened the door and said to him, 2 seconds, I have a dog. Let me go put her away. He was like, oh no, it's fine. Honestly, don't worry about it. No. I'm putting her away. My dog has never attacked anyone. I don't think my dog would attack anyone. She's soft. She just runs, jumps up you. As soon as you stroke her, she's on her back, legs up like the little hoe she is after all the attention. But I move her just in case anything can happen. And you've got a Chihuahua. Those little fucking yampy dogs that just bark and bite at people for no reason. I hate little dogs. I hate little dogs with a passion. Just kick them and put them in a bin. I wouldn't, before anyone starts calling the RSPCA or whatever on me. Don't cancel me. I wouldn't really kick a little dog. Not if anyone was looking anyway. But yeah, what a story. Imagine that. Imagine it's your birthday. You're trying to get your hair did, nails did, eyelid did, everything did. You go to this, and again, it's a new nail technician. So I don't know if you're still a eyelash technician after this. I am suing. Okay? Let me be the first to say that I am suing your dog. First of all, you're a new lash technician, so you should want to make sure everything is going to go to plan. There should be no distractions around. Get your dog out of here. How low to the ground was this woman, or how high up was this? Because chihuahuas are small, so I need to know like the arrangement of how this dog was just so. How did the dog get so close to bite your eyelid off in the first place? I'm not victim blaming. I just need to know the setup, the scenario, the situation, as to how a dog was able to even get up and rip someone's eyelids off. But let me tell you this now. If your dog rips my eyelid off, I am suing. I am suing you for everything you've got. I don't care if you're a veteran. I don't care if you're new. I don't care if I'm your first client. I don't care if you've just set up your small business during COVID. I don't give a fuck. Your dog just ripped off my eyelash. You are being sued. End of. I would say I'd fight you, but I don't have an eyelid. I can't blink. Oh my, imagine not being able to blink. The dust in the arm, it would have been so uncomfortable. I'd have walked around like this. I'd have been fighting you like this because the dust and everything would just be getting there. And then you look down and you just see your eyelid with a brand new set of lash. That's even worse. I feel like that's even worse because on one hand, you could have gone to sit down and then get your eyelid ripped off before you even get your lashes done. The fact that this dog waited for you to get your lashes done, pretty, flicky, and then just decided, you know what, I want it, and ripped it off. Luckily for you, the dog didn't swallow the thing. It's unlucky. And from one unlucky story, straight into another. It's unlucky. I'm not going to say he deserves it, but he kind of deserves it. So, a Detroit man wins $30K on the lottery. Well done. He then buys a £20,000 chain, and gets it snatched at a gas station within, I think it was in days or weeks of him getting it. So yeah, just because some of you are probably thinking to yourself, huh, hold on a minute. So a Michigan, the scenario in my head, no one with money is doing the lottery. Why? Because you know it's a waste of money and you've already got lottery money. So I'm assuming you don't care about doing the lottery. So people that are doing the lottery are probably the people that are living paycheck to paycheck. Like myself, we live paycheck to paycheck. You probably just want some money so you can either quit your job or at least take a break or to get some things done. So this guy, I don't know anything about him. I don't know if he owns his own place. I don't know if he's renting. I don't know if he lives with his parents or friends. I don't know if he drives. If he does drive, what kind of cars he got. Is it in good condition? I don't know if he knows what investing is. I don't know if he ever had ideas about starting up his own business, maybe decorating wherever he's staying to make it a bit more hospitable. If he is renting, I'm sure there are bigger places out there that he could have rented, nicer places and maybe a nicer area. what I'm saying is there's a couple of responsible things you can do with when you win the lottery, but as soon as you win the lottery, that money is yours. Spend it however you want. So a man in Michigan, Detroit, said he won £30,000 playing the lottery. Typical nigger fashion, he then went out and spent £20,000 on a gold chain. So he won £30,000 and then proceeded to spend over 70. I can't even work out what the percent is, but he then went and spent most of it, leaving himself with 10 grand. If he had spent the 10 grand on the chain and left himself with 20, I still would have said it was a stupid thing to do, but at least he would have left himself with some money. This guy spent £30 playing the lottery only to buy a £20,000 gold chain. Priorities, people, priorities. This is just me. If you're going to buy a chain, or if you want to buy something fancy, my mum always says, make sure you can buy it 3 times. If you can't buy it 3 times and it's not a necessity, don't buy it. If it's not adding value to something, or if it's not helping out your future in any way, if you can't afford to buy it 3 times, maybe you shouldn't buy it. This guy won $30,000 and proceeded to spend most of it on a fucking gold chain. That lets me know he's not all there. I'm just saying that lets me know he is not all there. Maybe he's someone that always wanted a gold chain. Go and buy one for $100. You've just won $30,000. Go and spend $1,000 on a chain. A $2,000 on a chain. $3,000 at a push. Go spend 10% of your winnings on a chain. That's a lot. 10% on a chain, but whatever, it's your winnings. Second part of the story is what really makes me chuckle. The first part of the story annoys the shit out of me. Won 30 grand, spent 20 grand on a chain. And for me, it's not the 20 grand, it's what he spent it on. If he had spent 20 grand on a brand new car, which is going to help him get around, fine. If he spent 20 grand on a deposit for a house so he hasn't got a rent or so he can move out, fine. If he spent £20 on an apartment, he could have said, 20 grand, sorry. He could have been renting somewhere, gone to his landlord and said, yo, I've just come into some money. I want to give you this money now to secure my rent for a year, 2 years, 5 years. Inquire how much it would be to buy that flat off him, whatever it takes. Any of these things he could have done. Buying a fucking gold chain. Which then, second part of the story, he then had it stolen at a gas station on Detroit's west side. You won $30,000, spent $20,000 on a chain only to get it snatched. With that extra 10, you should have brought yourself a banger. I'm not promoting violence, guys. I'm just saying, you've got 30 grand and you spent 20 grand on the chain, you better spend that 10 grand on protection to protect that chain. Because now look at you. Again, in the video when this happens, the way the news shows it is he walks into a gas station to pay. He's got his chain out. 2 men walking behind him. You can see him sort of looking over his shoulder. The gas station employee says he's seen that guy before at a previous robbery a few months ago. He comes in, looks for his targets, goes outside, waits for them to come out and robs them. And that's exactly what happened. He stood in the gas station with his big gold chain swinging. And first of all, in the news, he's like, I've heard of people getting their jewelry snatched. Tuck it. Tuck your shit. Why are you wearing a $20,000 chain to the gas station? Tuck your shit, take it off, put it in the glove, do something. You don't need a 20 grand chain on to go to the fucking gas station. You're not the Migos, clearly. Anyway, he's in the gas station. You see him like nervously looking over his shoulder. Still doesn't tuck his chain in. Still just leaves that shit swinging in the wind. He walks out. As he walks to the car, you literally see 2 or 3 people start to approach him. He's not the most athletic looking person, and from the way he starts running, he's not the quickest either. He literally turns, drops his shit. I feel like you can hear him say, oh shit, as he tries to run off. Like I hear him in my head. He's like, oh shit. His slow ass tries to run back into the gas station. Like that would have protected him. But he gets caught. He's in the doorway, wrestling for his life. They take that shit off him, run into a car and drive off. And he's just left, stood there on the forecourt, just like. And you know what as well? I know for a fact, I shouldn't judge, but I know if you are stupid enough to spend £20,000 of your £30,000 winning on a gold chain, you didn't get insurance. I'm just going to say that now. I don't think he got insurance for that. He's not going to get his money back. He's not going to get his chain back. He's now 20 grand down. That chain's been sold, okay? It's rare people steal your chain to wear your chain. Unless there was some sort of gang beef, which it doesn't look like it was gang beef. This was random. They have no reason to pose with your chain, flex with your chain. That's a 20 grand chain. They probably just got rid of that shit. There goes your chain. There, their money up. The police might catch him later on, but you ain't getting your shit back. So, what does it matter? Absolute fucking clown. I hope those last two stories, I don't know if they cheered you up, but it was a bit lighter than what we just went through with the fucking COVID-19 stuff. And moving on to my favourite segment and the final segment of this podcast, What's on the Box? The weekly segment where I talk about what new movies, TV shows I have discovered this week. I mentioned it last week. You know what's coming. You know what's coming for the next. Don't actually know how many episodes of this they're doing, but you know what's going to be a staple for the next few What's on the Box? Loki. Again, it is Wednesday. Once again, I haven't watched Loki yet, so I'm going to have to watch that later on today. But episode 1 came out last week. I'm going to say it now. I know it's a bit early to say, but I'm going to say it now. If I was to judge all 3 of the MCU series, so WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Loki, if I judged them all off their pilot episode, so the first episode, Loki's by far my favourite. I know they came out and said with Loki, they really want to change the way people look at these MCU TV shows. They want to make it grand. They want it to feel equivalent to actual MCU films. They don't want you to be like, oh, these are the films and these are the TV shows. They want it to just be, it's MCU. So, have you seen Thor? Yes, of course. You have to watch it. Have you seen WandaVision? Oh, no, I couldn't really get, oh, no, I didn't really like it. Oh, no, no. They're trying to make it so that you watch these TV shows. Because again, these TV shows are going to have some of the intricate links and explain a lot of the things that the movies aren't going to have time to do. But I'll say it, spoilers, even though the first episode's been out for a week now, we will go through spoilers. So boom, Loki episode 1, it all starts, this will carry on from Avengers Endgame, not at the end of Endgame. So if you've watched Endgame, there's the time heist where Iron Man, Captain America, Ant-Man, and Hulk all travel back. Actually, they all travel back in time. Those 4 in particular, they travel back to New York for the Battle of New York, which is in the first Avengers movie. Long story short, Hulk comes down the stairs, knocks the Tesseract out of Tony Stark's hand. Loki picks it up. And then he disappears, and that's all we see in Endgame. We see no more of Loki. In Loki, turns out he picks it up. I've got notes down, that's why I keep looking. He picks up the Tesseract and he escapes into a desert somewhere. So the best thing about this is, Marvel are doing sneaky things this is the one sneaky thing they've done to sort of resurrect or bring back a dead character. So the main Loki character that we know from the MCU, he is dead. He got his neck snapped by Thanos. This Loki is the big, bad, evil, cruel, and not necessarily reformed Loki from Avengers just after he lost his fight with the Avengers. So he is pissed and probably more evil than ever at the minute. So that's where we are with that. He then teleports into, I think it's the Gobi Desert, they say. It says, I've got desert, but then he immediately goes into the Gobi Desert. He sees a bunch of people. He then tries to rule those people like he did in the first Avengers movie when he lands in Germany or wherever he lands, I think. And then, boom, a portal opens and it's the TVA, the Time Variance Authority. Yeah, but they basically turn up and they tell him that he's broken the laws of time that have affected the sacred timeline, which seems to be, the sacred timeline is going to be something important. They tell him he's got to stand on trial. Loki being Loki is like, let's fight. This is one of the best weapons, I'm saying it now, this is one of the best weapons I have seen in the MCU. Yes, we have seen Infinity Stones, Infinity Gauntlets, Stormbreaker, Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, the Black Panther suit, Spider-Man. Yes, there are Iron Man, there are great weapons. But this little stick that the TVA had, when Loki runs at him, she just hits him. And all of a sudden, Loki's moving in, I think she says you're moving in 1/16 of a second. Shit, but feeling all the pain in real time. They whack something on his neck that stops him using his powers and everything and helps them control him. He gets sucked off into the TVA. There's a whole scene within the TVA, which is just great. Loki then has to go on trial. He tries to blame the Avengers, which, if you were Loki, he's correct. Don't blame me. I didn't do anything wrong. Blame the Avengers. They time travel to fix their mistakes. Then the TVA say something interesting, which I think is going to fall apart later on, is they were like, that was meant to happen. Loki's like, excuse me? They were meant to travel back in time. Loki wasn't meant to escape. Loki's pissed. Well, who made up that? Who decides that? The Time Lords? No, that's Doctor Who. Time Wizards. Time Gods. The Time Authority. The three time people. Basically, they look after it all. Now you've got Loki starting to question, why do these guys get to make all the decisions? Who put them in charge? All answers I'm sure we will get later on. There is, again, this first scene. So, episode 1 of WandaVision, nothing got answered. It just set up all questions and all mysteries. If you watch the first 2-3 episodes of WandaVision, you have no idea what it is. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they introduce you to the enemy, or at least one of the enemies. You don't see a face, you don't get a name, it's just the mask, a fight scene, and that's it. Loki, they gave us answers from the very get-go. There's a little animation with Miss Time, who explains the whole, there used to be a bunch of multiverses and they were fighting with each other, so the TVA, or the people that created the TVA, came together and to stop this war, to stop the madness happening between multiverses, they created one sacred timeline where all time goes. Some people branch off that timeline, which then calls a multiverse of madness. So the TVA are there to stop these people from branching off and destroy that branch timeline to stick to the TVA's timeline. That seems like bullshit. It's propaganda. I don't think that's actually how the MCU works. I just think that's what the TVA tell people. Yes, I'm saying, are the TVA bad guys? I don't know if they're going to be bad guys, but I just don't think everything that they're saying is as straightforward as possible. So Loki's on this trial. He gets sentenced to be reset, which looks horrible. Owen Wilson steps in, however, and let me just say, when I saw Owen Wilson was going to be in Loki, I was like, Owen Wilson, an MCU film, or I couldn't see it, but my God, again, it's only been one episode. But Owen Wilson has been great casting. Marvel do not miss when it comes to casting. All the TV shows the past 2 TV shows they've done, the past 10 years of films that they've done, Marvel don't miss when it comes to their casting. Whoever's in charge of casting for Marvel deserves a raise. But Owen Wilson is playing someone called Morbius. Is it Morbius? Check my notes. Mobius, not Morbius. He's a TVA agent called Mobius. He's like, you know what, Loki, I can save you from this. He then takes Loki to some room where they start doing like a therapy session. Loki tries to escape, tries to attack him. Morbius is just like, he's got this button, he's like, boom, rewinds time. That you just sit back down, rewinds Loki, so it sits back down to where he is. It's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff there. We also find out that, hold on a minute. Yeah, so through Mobius, Loki and us, the viewers, we find out that there is a Loki variant that has been going into all of these different timelines. Has been creating all these different timelines, taking out the TVA when they get there and stealing their time resetter. Again, when you've watched the time resetters, that's what they use to delete a branched off timeline from the sacred timeline. So whoever this Loki variant, who, again, thanks to the geek stuff I listen to on YouTube, could be female Loki, like woman Loki. In the comics, after Ragnarok happens, all the souls then get poofed. And in trying to find Loki's body again, instead of finding Loki's body, the soul of Loki enters, I think it's Lady Sif's body, creating Lady Loki. This looks like a different way of explaining Lady Loki. It's just a different timeline. Loki's a female now instead of a male, which I love the idea of. Happens in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We're used to Dr. Ock being a man. In the Spider-Verse, when he goes into the other multiverse, it turns out that Doc Ock is actually a woman who's played by Catherine Hahn, who is also Agatha. I don't know what this is meant to be. It's like a merge little thing there for you, so you can take that to your next pub quiz or anything like that. But yeah, so I said Mobius reveals that there's a version or versions of Loki have been causing chaos across the timelines, killing TVA agents and stealing their time highs. So we don't actually know if this person's good or bad. We don't know if they're fighting with someone or for someone. The fact that they've told us this in the first episode lets me know not everything is the way it seems. So this Loki variant is a Loki variant. So just like our Loki was working for Thanos, this Loki variant could be working for someone else. Could be possibly Kang the Conqueror, who knows? This Loki variant could have been a TVA agent who's gone rogue, or it could just be a Loki variant who is the god of mischief, just causing mischief. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see for that one. I think there's so many things. I think the one I highlight about this was the little therapy session. They have like a little therapy session where Mobius is just questioning Loki about why he does all these things. Why are you evil? Why do you like seeing people hurt and all this? He's then showing Loki like moments of his life. He shows, and again, Loki doesn't know this. So in Thor 2, Thor the Dark World, Loki tells the ice gods to, I think he's like up the stairs to the left, thinking that was Thor's room. It wasn't Thor's room. It was where his mum was. They kill his mum. Loki never knew this until he sees it then. He then at some point tricks Mobius and gets the key thing to his necklace that's been keeping him powerless there. Takes that off, runs off to try and get the Tesseract, because obviously the TVA captured him with the Tesseract. So he runs off getting the Tesseract, gets his Tesseract, and then as he opens the drawer, he finds a bunch of Infinity Stones. Now, at first, I was like, oh shit, it's about to go down in episode 1. For the past 10 years, we've been led to believe that the Infinity Stones are the most powerful thing in the universe. Boom, get to the TVA, they use Infinity Stones as paperweights. He literally says, some of the guys use them as paperweights. They have no power in the TVA. And that's because the TVA it's not in a different timeline. It's like, it sits on the outside of time, kind of, sort of. I feel that's how I picked it up. They're separate from time. They control it, but they're separate from time. So the Tesseract is useless there. The Infinity Stones are useless there. And that's when Loki then realizes, hang on 1 second. Is the TVA, is this the power? Like, is this, I thought the ultimate power was the Infinity Stones. Where I am now is it's literally turned Infinity Stones, which have the power to wipe out half the universe, into paperweights. He goes back to his room, ends up watching the video file of his life, and yes, he comes to the end. He sees him reconcile with Thor. He sees him fighting by Thor's side. He then sees the encounter with Thanos. He sees Thanos snap his neck. It then ends and says, end of file. Loki sees his death and realizes that if he escapes or if he gets reset, it's just going to be a loop. He's just going to go. He's doing all this to die, basically. Everything, his search for power is only going to lead him to death by the guy that actually set him out on the original path to find said power. It's so good. And it's got everything. It's got the intrigue and the mystery and the sci-fi-ness that WandaVision had. We've also seen some fight scenes, so we know we're going to get action. Probably won't be I'll say good. It won't be as good as deep action that we were getting in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but we're still going to get action. I can't wait. Can't wait to watch the second episode. No. It's exactly where I'm going. Guys, this has been another episode of the Myles High Club podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, or click follow, click the love heart, whatever it takes. Click it. How we beat the algorithms. Subscribe. We are trying to get to 100 subscribers, so help me out. Until the next time, I have been your host, Myles. Peace.